You're listening to Where You At. Today, I'm joined by a former John Carroll track and field teammate of mine, Mick Doyle. He is currently working as a financial representative in Columbus, Ohio, and today we're talking about staying grounded in your own timeline, making real-life financial decisions, and focusing on long-term growth over short-term aesthetics. If you've ever felt behind or pressured to keep up, especially when it comes to money or lifestyle, Mick's perspective will help you focus on what actually matters. So let's get into it. Mick, welcome to Where You At?
Thanks for having me, Taylor. I'm a big fan of this show, and I think you're doing great work. And I was like, you know what? I want to reach out to Taylor and see how she's doing. So
Yeah, well, thanks, Mick. I know you've had a lot going on. Biggest news, I see you are engaged now, so congratulations to both of you there.
yeah, thanks a lot. Got engaged back in May, and I'm planning a wedding right now, and got a lot going on with that. So that's a whole nother story. It's going really well. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that's an exciting time in your life. I'm so happy for both of you. Oh my gosh. So wedding planning, gosh, but before we get into everything, how has that been going?
So it's good. So Kara and I are very, very blessed. We're very fortunate. Her parents are helping out a lot with giving support and guidance, obviously helping with making sure that we get the date and everything booked, because weddings are pretty expensive.
Yes.
So anytime you look up what's the average cost of a wedding, double that number. Go ahead and just double that number. All right. That's a piece of advice for all the followers here. But it's going well. There's a lot going on with it. I would just say, like, for us, just kind of narrowing down responsibilities of like, okay, you reach out to these photographers, you reach out to this coordinator, you reach out to the caterer, and just breaking it down that way. And then sitting down together. We usually have like a weekly check-in. So her mom actually bought her like a wedding planning guide. So it's like a calendar of like a wedding planning thing. So we go in there, and that's like our headquarters. So we go in there, we check things off. We can look at a guest list count. We could look at, all right, have you done this? Here's a good timeline for that. So it's going really well. Yeah,
so it kind of helps you keep things in track or keep things in check as you guys go through this whole planning process.
That's correct.
Well, congratulations again. I'm so happy for you, and I hope, these next few months or this next year, however long you guys are waiting until the big day, I hope it goes well for you.
Thank you very much.
And it's kind of funny. I think we were just talking about how fast time has gone, and I don't think we've seen each other in person since, was it Nationals or was it the end of the 2023? We graduated John Carroll 2023. And I really haven't been back to campus since or anything. So I think it's been almost 2 years, a little over 2 years since I've seen you.
It's probably been graduation.
Yeah, graduation. Oh my gosh.
It's probably been graduation, Taylor. Yeah, it's gone quick. But there's been a lot going on in your life, in my life, and in everyone's life. So
I know we're young adults now.
We're young adults. And it's funny because like when I first got to Carroll, one of the things that people would say is, oh, it's going to go so quick. It's going to go so fast. And I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. But it really does. It really does. Next thing you know, you're graduating and you're working and you're on camera for work, or you're dressing up in a suit, or you're an adult.
Right? Exactly.
So, yeah.
Blink
and then
of
people
an
go
eye.
their separate ways. People go their separate ways. So that's another thing is, you're going to have a lot of friends and talk to people. And, as time goes, people move, people, have families, people have new jobs, people have things in life come up. So I'm very grateful that we were able to spend 4 years together on the track team, and we had a lot of great memories and learned a lot about life and each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much of my time at John Carroll, I grew and learned so much as a person, but a lot of those memories do come back to being a part of a team, being on the track and field team. And, there were highs and there were lows, but I think the highs really just made my college experience. But speaking of that, the alumni meet January, will you be there?
I will be there. Yep.
I got talked into also. Yeah, same.
You're
trying
to.
I will be there, Mick. We got a little relay together. So it's me, Lucia, Maria, and Evie. So our 4x2. I know.
Okay.
So yes, we will be breaking out of retirement for one day only.
So are you going to wear spikes and go all out? Or are you just going to kind of coast and just wear your trainers?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. But like, I'm so competitive. Like, I'm like, I think I have to kind of at least try to go all out. I'm trying to like get back into sprinting and like moving my legs quick again. But it's like, wow, 2 years off of, that type of training. It's your body. It's a reality check for your body. Cause it's like, oh, I thought you didn't do this anymore.
All right. So I'm going to be coaching track at St. Francis de Sales High School here in Columbus with Kara. Her dad's the head track coach, so we're going to be coaching there. I'll be coaching hurdles. And I did a workout with some of the athletes the other day. And I was like, oh, this 8 200s, that's nothing.
That's
just throw my
nothing,
trainers on. And let's just put it this way. I had to limp up coming to this room. Like, I am sore. I am sore. So whatever you're doing, make sure
I had to ease
you
back in.
prepare.
I had to ease back in. So I tried to find it when it was still kind of nicer out. I tried to find like an outdoor track and just to get my legs moving that quick again, just doing some accelerations, some tempo
Yeah.
work, trying to go back to the old workout book days and think of different things, I could do. And now that it's so cold, I've been trying to like run on a treadmill, but sprinting on a treadmill isn't the same, but at least I'm still moving. But I
Right.
will be excited to just see everyone and I know
Yeah.
it's all for fun. It will be fun to just kind of go back and a little reunion.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I think for that, it's going to be fun just to see everybody there, some of their family
Mm-hmm.
members, maybe some of their spouses or
Mm-hmm.
girlfriends or boyfriends, and just getting that community because now with the whole event center, we get like the track team gets like a day to like come together and have like an alumni
Mm-hmm.
meet like we're doing, and we can host more events, which means that more people are going to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's being hosted at Carroll rather than somewhere 3 or 4 hours away, that's going to be a
Exactly.
good thing for people. So I'm really excited for
Yeah.
that. I think we're supposed to run a 4x2 as well, but we'll see. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see how some of those
We'll
guys
see.
are
I know,
feeling.
right?
We'll see what
I
happens
know.
with Cam.
Yeah. Well, before we get into everything, Mick, hypothetically speaking, let's say we have a mixed gender relay. We're in our prime. Where are you putting yourself on there, and where am I at?
Is it a 4x1, 4x2, or 4x4?
Let's do a 4x1. Let's do a 4x1 because I know we both did a lot of the short sprints. So I mean, I know you did longer sprints, but I was a short sprinter. So let's say 4x1.
All right. So who's on our team?
You pick.
So
you put it together, but it's for me and you for sure. Yeah.
So me. Is this from people that are currently like all-time John Carroll, or
our
who we
time,
ran with?
our time. Yes.
Okay.
People we
Okay.
ran with. So me and you, and then give me one more girl, one more guy.
Okay. So here's how I would do it. I would lead you off.
Okay. Coming out of blocks.
I like you popping off, coming out of the blocks. You got to run Garrett Clark second. You got to run Garrett Clark second. He was the best second leg in the nation.
Mhm.
I love Garrett second. I'll run third. So I usually let off and stuff, and when I did run third, it wasn't always the best. But I'll run third if I'm going to be on the team.
Okay.
And who's fourth? So it's got to be a girl.
Yes. I think I know the answer to this.
Lucia.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid relay.
Yeah, I just remember from conference some few years back when you guys were running and you guys beat Mountain 4x1. That was cool.
Yeah, those were the good old days, right? Pre-injury
Right.
and all of that. But we don't even need to get into that. So
Yeah.
Well, now, Mick, I know, okay, so now kind of, getting into things. I know you're in Columbus now. So born and raised in Chicago, moved to Cleveland for school, obviously, and now Columbus. So how is all of this going for you? I mean, you're navigating not only a new job, but a new city. And then obviously we talked about the engagement. Just talk to me. How has everything been going for you?
It's good. So it's Chicago, Cleveland, Columbus. It's like the 3 C's of my life. So at Carroll, I thought I was going to stay with Sherwin-Williams and stay in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the beginning of this year, an alumni from John Carroll, his name is Joe Salem. He currently works for the firm I'm at now, Lifetime Financial Growth. And he came and talked to us about working in financial management, helping people with their insurance, employee benefits, with their money and all those different things. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like a cool thing. Like, let me go to that. So him and I talked for a while after that presentation. And I was like, you know what? Like, this sounds like a career that I'm interested in. Like, but I got to tell you, I think I'm going to look into moving into Columbus because that's where, Kara is from. So he connected me with some of the people down here and I got started. Columbus has been great. Columbus is a growing city. It's a great market for younger people. There's a lot of things to do here, right? Because when I was growing up, it was just like, Columbus, that's Ohio State, right? Like,
Right, that's what you think of, yeah.
I never thought I was going to live in Columbus. I never thought I was going to live in Ohio. But no, as time goes on, you kind of realize, all right, well, what's important to you? And what was important to me is being close to family. What was important to me was having a career and also in a market where it can make things easier too. But no, it's a new city. I only knew like 10 people down here before I moved down, and now I probably know like 100.
Oh, that's good. So you're settling in pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, my best friend from home, she lives in Columbus. She went to Ohio State, and then she just, after college, she got a good job there. So I've been to Columbus quite a few times, and obviously growing up, I only lived 2 hours away from there. But I agree with you. It's a growing city. There's a lot to do. The downtown life is great. But if you want to, stay in the suburbs and then come into the city, like it gives you kind of the best of both worlds.
Right, yeah. So like in Chicago, most people live in the city, right? So a lot of people live in the city, work in the city. And if they live in the suburbs, a lot of them work in Chicago. Like my
Hmm.
parents, like they would make that commute every day. And I knew that because like the traffic was bad.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in Columbus, a lot of the suburbs are bigger. So not a lot of people like live or work in the city as much. So the
Hmm.
suburbs, a lot of people live there, work there. I was downtown Columbus a few weeks ago and it was like a ghost town down there. So that's kind of how Columbus is. Unless it's game day
Yeah, of
for
course,
Ohio
unless
State.
it's game day. Right, right. Because then everyone's coming in, finding their place to watch the game, and then going to the state. Oh my gosh, being there on game day, it's such a cool experience, but it's a lot. It's a lot, especially coming from a school like John Carroll and being at like football game days there and then going to like Big Ten game day, completely different atmosphere. But it was great to experience because I did get to go to a few games with my best friend that went to Ohio State. But I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it is a different atmosphere. I'll tell you what though, some of those John Carroll tailgates are fun though.
Yeah,
They're fun. They're a good time. But
that's true.
so Ohio Columbus doesn't have an NFL team, but Ohio State
Hmm.
is the 33rd NFL team. Like that experience is everyone should like if you're a sports fan or if you're social and you like being around
Hmm.
people or you got to go to an Ohio State football game. Like
Hmm. I get it.
there's a lot going on. It's fun. It's a great time.
Hmm. And I know right after you finish John Carroll, well, I guess after graduation, you continue. You got your MBA, right? So you stayed 2 more years, right?
Yes.
Okay. So decided to work in finance. So what exactly, tell us what you're doing now and what you think drew you to this role.
Yeah, for sure. So I currently work for a private wealth management firm called Lifetime Financial Growth. We were founded in the 1960s. So we have around 350 advisors and we work with
Mhm.
just under 100,000 clients. And we're not a JP Morgan,
Mhm.
we're not a UBS, right? We're not Goldman Sachs. Our firm's interesting because we work with clients directly and our brand is the advisors. Our brand's our company, our brand's our clients, our brand's the experience, right?
Mhm.
So I'm able to run my business and my practice kind of the way I see fit, right? So I'm reaching out to people, I'm going to networking events, I'm finding new people to talk to. And what I'm doing is right now I'm helping a lot of people who are younger with, all right, well, what does your employee benefits package look like? Let's
Mhm.
take a look at your student loans. What are your concerns with that? What's your cash flow like so we can identify gaps and maybe you could be saving more here or putting it there. So a lot of it
Okay.
is, I don't know if pro bono is the right word, but a lot of it is just kind of helping people with a lot of their kind of standard budgeting and finances.
Mhm.
So I don't know if how much you know about the financial services industry, but it's very regulated, right? I'm not going to say that I'm a doctor or anything, but kind of the position I'm in right now is kind of like my residency, right? Where
Gotcha.
I'm
Okay.
studying, getting all my different licenses and
Right. And
certifications.
then you can kind of move up from there.
And then as time goes on, I'll be able to start taking over, people's assets and I'll start
Mhm.
to help people maybe make more investment decisions. So right now I'm kind of doing a lot of things with the insurance space actually. And
Okay.
insurance is interesting because, when you're younger, a lot of people don't think about it, right? Like maybe you're younger, you're
Mhm.
invincible, you don't have a family yet, so you're not worried about it. But when you're younger, it's actually a good time to look at it because you're healthy.
Mhm.
You're healthy, you have time, right? And for a lot of people, it's not the top of mind because you're so worried about your cash flow and paying your rent,
Mhm.
right? Like you see the cost of living on things. It's crazy. People aren't thinking
Right.
about their future; they're thinking about today. So where I kind of come in is, let's think about today. What can we do today where we can make sure our future is more protected and secured? And that's kind of the space I'm working in now, and it's going well.
Yeah. So your clients, are they younger, older? Is it kind of a mix of both?
It's a mixture of both. It's a wide range. A lot of people I'm working with are probably between 22 and 26.
Okay.
So
So
graduate college,
early.
first
Mhm.
job. But I do work with clients who are older, right?
Okay. Okay.
40s, 60s. I might be working with a client who's younger than 20s. That's another situation, but
Wow. Okay. Well, good for him or her. So I think, for this podcast, I feel like a lot of people listening or watching might be in the early to mid 20s, maybe just finishing
yeah.
school or in that in between period of life where they're just starting their first real full time job or transitioning to a next, or maybe late 20s going into 30s. But I feel like either way, this is beneficial advice for anyone. So for the ones out there who may just be starting to make like real money with that first full-time position, what's would you say in your expert opinion is the first financial habit you think they should start to build, maybe before even thinking about investing or saving?
So the first habit you can do is take a deep dive and look into your employee benefits. What's your 401k match? What health insurance do you have? Do you need to go on it yet if you're still under 26? Does it make sense for
Mm.
you? Maybe you have a certain medication that requires you to be on your own plan. I'm not sure. What's your insurance look like with disability or life? What's your PTO look like so you know how much time you could take off?
Mhm.
Right? So looking at your benefits is very important because, you don't really learn, all right, well, this is the employee HR handbook. It's
Right.
200 pages. People just don't go through that. You usually have like a 10-day window to enroll in
Mhm.
your coverage, and people are so worried because, oh, maybe they already have responsibilities from their job, or they're
Mhm.
moving and it's just not on the top of mind. So they just select different things. Take a deep look at that and really know what you're getting yourself into. Know what you have coverage wise, know what you don't have coverage wise. For example, let's say you're somebody who you have a child and you're looking through your employee benefits and you're like, okay, cool. Like I have life insurance. That's going to be important for you. And you
Mhm.
probably need more coverage, right? Or let's say you are 26 years old and you have to get in health insurance for the first time. It might be important to talk to somebody to see what might make sense because health insurance is expensive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I would take a deep look at that. Now, in terms of, and this is going to be boring, but it's just the fact. When you're younger, your biggest asset and the biggest thing that people have going for them is
Mhm.
their income and or their ability to make an income. You have
Okay.
time on your side. So
Mhm.
making sure that you're smart with it, with electing your benefits, making sure you're smart with saving as much as you can is important.
Mm.
Now, what's a good rule of thumb for saving? It depends on where you're at. 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses is a good place to start. So
Right.
if your expenses are $5,000 a month, shoot for $1,000 emergency budget, right? If you don't get there, maybe that's okay. But this way, you have some cash you need to access if you can.
Mm.
And then once you kind of hit a good emergency budget, it's going to give you a permission slip to look into other things, right? To look into other assets to grow. Because, and I'll just tell you this, about a month ago, my car broke down.
Oh
I'm on my way
no.
to I'm on my way to work and my car breaks down. And, luckily I had a little bit of a savings account with some money in
Mhm.
there. So I didn't have to put it on a credit card with a 20%
There you
interest
go.
rate. Or
Right.
I didn't have to call up a family member and have that kind of call of shame. So I
Yeah.
definitely encourage people to save and start there. I know you said like what else other than saving, but
Saving's
after
a
you
big
start
part of it, right, too.
yeah,
Mm.
after you start with your benefits, then okay, well, what's a good saving strategy? Also,
Mhm.
too, what's your tax situation look like? I'm not a tax professional. I can't necessarily like look at someone's specific taxes, but
Mhm.
what are they taking out of your paycheck? Are you gonna right? So that's another thing to look at as well. What are your deductions?
So would you say a common mistake that you see, just for, with your years that you've been doing this now, a common mistake you see for young people, is it kind of overlooking those things? So overlooking, like you've said, the things when it comes to employee benefits and when it comes to looking at your 401k options, when it comes to life insurance and things like that? Or is there something else that you're seeing in
People don't think about it. They don't think about it because you're not taught to. When
financial
you're in
literacy, right?
You're not taught that. When you're taught in school is you're taught, what year did we go to the moon? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like it's good that we know history. But you're
Yeah,
taught
no, I
history,
get
right?
it.
You're taught language arts. You're taught social studies, all that stuff.
Mhm.
It's great. It's wonderful. But they don't teach you about financial literacy,
Mhm.
and that's one of the reasons for me, one of the reasons too was growing up, it was always don't talk about money. Don't talk about money, right? That's
Mhm.
everyone else's situation. Don't talk about it, right? So that's another part. But a lot of people don't think about it because they're thinking about today. All right, I can't think about my future because I'm just worried about paying my bills today, or I'm worried
Yeah,
about the
get through
weekend,
the
or I'm worried about that.
Mhm.
They either don't
Mhm.
have time to, or just quite frankly, people don't know where to start and it scares them and they're confused on what to do because they're not taught it. They don't know who to trust on social media because everyone on social media has a voice and everyone's an expert. And that's a difficult thing too, because one influencer is saying this, the other one's saying the complete opposite, and
Mhm.
you don't know what to do. So you'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
It's one of the common objections too is, well, I don't have time right now. You don't have time to sit down for an hour and think about like making sure that your future is good. Like
Yeah,
that doesn't
no,
make sense. But that's
I
okay because
mean,
most people are like that, you know? So you just got to help
yeah,
people
and
understand the importance.
I think, off of that financial literacy point, it's such a barrier for so many people. I mean, especially when you think of a bunch of other factors that can come into play there. I mean, it's something that should be taught to us. And I mean, I'd say early as, I mean, high school. I feel like that's that age where it's setting us up for whether you're, your college or the trade route or whatever your post high school plans are. It's
Yeah.
something that needs to be integrated into curriculums everywhere because it's something so many of us, like you said, we don't know about it. We're teaching ourselves in our early 20s, some of us, or some people, like you said, they don't want to think about it. They think it's so far in the future. And that's really, I feel like, the problem.
More high schools are starting to put it in their curriculum.
Mhm.
I know there's certain schools that do require like a financial literacy course, and I think that's
Mhm.
wonderful. It's also tough too because a lot of things with finances, a lot of it's common sense, but a lot of it gets misconstrued and it's opinionated, right? Like you should be putting
Mhm.
your money in this, not this. No, you should be doing that. So I think the basics and the fundamentals
Mhm.
do make sense. What's a high yield savings account, right? What are your interest rates for your student loans? Student loans is the biggest one, Taylor. The big problem people have is, when you're 18, 17, 18 years old, what is it? Well, you got to go to college to get a job. Okay, well, maybe I can't afford college.
Mhm.
Well, you got to take out a student loan. Okay, where do I sign? Here you go.
Right. You're not even thinking about the
$50,000
aftermath of all
later.
of that.
What's an interest rate? I didn't know what an interest rate was when I was 17. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
How did I go from a $50,000 loan to now I'm going to be paying back $100,000 over a span of 20 years? All of
right.
that. It's like a foreign language for most people.
Right, exactly. It's a foreign language. It's a different language. That's a great way to put it.
Mhm.
You sign up and you do these things and you don't know where to start, right? And I would say the biggest piece of advice and what I would say to people is try to talk to somebody about it. Talk to someone that you trust. Talk to someone that has your best interests in mind. For me, it was my aunt. My
Mhm.
aunt is very good with investing. My aunt's very good with money. She's very smart. And, she's someone that I trust. She's someone that, she's one of my role models. So I knew from any problems I had with that stuff, I would go to her. So I would encourage people who, whether they're an adult, whether maybe they're in high school, even younger, like talk to somebody that you trust about these things because that's a great place to start. Do your research, talk to someone you trust, and read the fine print. I'm not saying you have to read every single letter in a 200-page document,
Mm.
but you should be kind of close to that. Like you should look through it and know what you're getting yourself into. So a big one with that is kind of segueing a little bit, but it's credit cards,
A credit card debt.
credit card debt. Now, let me ask you, why do you think people get in a credit card debt?
Oh, because it's attractive to them. They see, oh, I can do, get this cashback bonus or this and, all the perks, but not really looking at, especially like the stores. The stores love to say, oh, would you like to sign up and save $20 off on this purchase? So people, they're thinking, like you said, they're thinking short term in the moment, how it's going to benefit them and not necessarily looking at the long term detrimental impact of that debt.
And another reason is because that purchase, that thing they buy, will make them perhaps look better to others, whether that's going on a
Mm-hmm.
nice trip somewhere, whether that's buying a nice car, whether that's buying a nice outfit, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And for most people, they have some sort of credit card debt. And a lot of it is because there is that short term, I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to go to this.
Short
I don't
term
have the money.
gratification, right?
Correct. I don't have the money in my checking account. Um, oh, here's the credit card. So they'll put on a credit card. But here's what people don't know. Those credit card interest rates can get pretty high,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they can get high and it can get into a point where it spirals and it gets out of control. If you have a credit card to pay for small things like throwing your gas on there each month or different things because you like the cash back or the travel rewards if you fly frequently, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're opening different lines of credit because you have to pay your bills or you're behind, you need money, that's where you're getting into rocky waters, right? And it's tough because, oh, well, you got to feed your family. You shouldn't open up a credit card. You just got to figure it
Mm-hmm.
out and work harder. Like that's a difficult thing to say to somebody, right? So, I encourage people to just keep doing research. If you could avoid credit cards in the form of paying for it because you don't have the money, please do so. If you can have a
Mm-hmm.
credit card because you like the cashback features or the mileage or because you're responsible and you're just paying for some things because you want to build your credit, then go for it.
Yeah, you really have to look at the reasoning as to why you're using or opening these lines of credit, right?
That's correct. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it can be helpful for you because like a lot of people, that's another thing a lot of my clients are asking me about is, I want to build my credit. I want to build my credit score. Okay, why do you want to build your credit? I don't know. So I guess so I can buy a house one day.
Mhm.
Yeah, like that's a good thing. Like, you want to have a good credit score for that. And they're not going to take you serious if your credit score is 200 or 300. I don't even think it'd go that
Right.
low. I think 350 is lowest, but like you do need that. And what's a
Mhm.
good way to build that? Open up a credit card, put just your gas on it or
Mhm.
just restaurants on it, right? Assuming
Mhm.
you don't go every single day. But put something simple on it where it's kind of a frequent monthly payment for you and then do that. Another good thing that you can do too is anything that you're buying online, you can put on a credit card because of privacy concerns, right?
Mm.
If it's a credit card, right, like that's less linked to your actual checking account and debit account. A big thing going on right now is a lot of fraud, right? A lot of
Right.
fraud from online stuff, people on social media. It's bad. Be careful about opening links as well, right? Anytime that
Mhm.
they're asking for payment or for links or something, be very cautious. Be cautious about any promotions that seem too good to be true, right? Ask questions.
Mhm.
Talk
Because
to
it
your
most
financial
likely is
guy.
too good to be true.
Talk to your financial guy, or just any questions you have with that. I encourage people to do their research. I can't stress that enough.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's good to know. I think people could definitely take away, even if they only take away one thing from all of the financial advice that you just kind of shared, the smallest thing, like you said, I think it could really help someone. So thanks for that, Mick. I feel like that's a very interesting perspective for someone that's in their early to mid 20s and to already know, so many steps and so many financial tips that can kind of help set you up for success in your future.
Another thing I want to say is a lot of people feel like they're behind.
Mhm.
I see kids who are 5 years younger than me who are making millions of dollars and they're driving these nice cars and they're growing. I encourage people not to pay attention to that because a lot of that is fake. People are going to portray on social media what you want them to think about them, whether
Mhm.
it's they have wealth or it's they have resources, whatever it is. Stay in your lane. That is one thing I'll say, right?
Mhm.
Your podcast, where are you at? You're at right here. You're in your lane. Focus on you,
Yes.
focus on your family and what you got to do and your goals.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times what happens is people see on social media all these other people and how great their lives are, and then incentivizes them to do something that they probably shouldn't or spend money that they probably shouldn't. And they haven't done enough homework or research. And what happens is you dig yourself in a deeper hole, whether that's a form of credit card debt or you get scammed by some company, and it's tough. So wherever you're at right now, I would just say like you're doing okay. Keep working
Mhm.
hard. Surround yourself around people you trust and think about your specific goals, not somebody else's. And that's a
Yeah.
big problem that I see with a lot of people, especially when they're younger, because it's like, how come I'm not rich or how come I'm not successful? Because you're just graduating. Like it's okay, you know?
Yeah, everyone's on their own path, their own timeline.
I'll tell you, when I pull up to work every day, on this side is a Mercedes, on this side's a Range Rover, and right in front of me is an Escalade. I got a Toyota Camry. I'm not going to hide that, but I'm okay with that because I know I'm
Mhm.
getting started. And, and knowing that and not, "Oh, I need that right now. So I'm going to throw on a credit card."
Mhm.
That's something that's going to help me accumulate more wealth. So then one
There
day I
you
will
go.
be able to do those things and
Yeah, you
drive
have
a
to
nicer
think
car.
longer term, bigger picture, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're adjusting very well into this financial world. And
Yeah.
I feel like, once we do become independent, especially in our like post college, postgraduate years, we're kind of shifting from this structured life, especially being student athletes. We're shifting from this structured life to more of that independence. So I want to ask you, what did you find to be the hardest for that during that transition?
Yeah, it's a great question, Taylor. Like you just said, when you're in school and when you're an athlete, there's a lot of
Uh-huh.
structure. So my whole life, it was school, sports. That was my life. School,
Hmm.
sports. Now it's work, but I'm not a typical like 9 to 5 where I show up at nine.
Hmm.
Like I'm working on Saturdays. I'm working at nights. I'm working in the morning. It's
Oh, I didn't
different,
know
right?
that. So you don't have that traditional like hours Monday through Friday to 5. Oh, okay.
So it's that structure isn't necessarily there from from the employer providing for me. I have to
Mhm.
provide that for myself. So I have to block off times. So for example, when I first
Mhm.
started, my calendar was all over the place. Like I'll admit that.
Mm-hmm.
What I did now is like, all right, well, I'm not going to do anything on Sundays. Sundays is going to be time for me to rest, go to church, hang out with Kara and family and just do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Sundays is nothing. But maybe on Saturdays, I could commit some time to doing some things. But for me, it's always trying to be 1 week ahead. So like my calendar for next week is already all set. Like I have everything ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
When things come and pop up, then I need to have conversations because I'm communicating to people like, all right, well, I'm going to be here at this time. So they
Mm-hmm.
know that. So I kind of make that structure myself. And I use my calendar to do so. I stay ahead. I have a to-do list. I have a whiteboard at work and I try to communicate. I have Google Calendar,
That's
probably too
good.
many
Yeah.
calendars, but
So even with all of the not unstructuredness, but even with all of the changing schedules and nothing never really being consistent, you were still able to take so many of like the time management skills that you gained from your years of activities, athletics, academics, and apply that to so you were able to apply that to what you're doing now.
yes, I would say the biggest part with that is especially like in the wintertime, like you get up, it's
Hmm.
dark. You get home from work, it's dark.
It's
It's
dark.
miserable.
Exactly.
It's a long, 3, 4 months.
Hmm.
But even with that said, when you're in school and you're working and you're doing a
Hmm.
sport or you're working, maybe multiple jobs, and then you're a human being, so you want to have relationships with people. You want to have a good
Hmm.
time. You're in college.
Exactly.
You're only young once, right? Like there's that in your mind too. Having my plate filled in college and being so busy helps me now manage it a lot better, right? Like I have like that mental callus and I'm not as tired at night and I can be more productive and I could go home and I
Hmm.
can give more energy. Yeah. It definitely helped for
Yeah.
sure. John Carroll track, working, John Carroll University school.
Hmm.
It was definitely a great experience, and it's definitely helping you for sure too, right? Like you were busy, like
Absolutely.
you had a lot of stuff going on. You were making it happen. You were applying to grad school and stuff, and it's definitely helping you, right? Like you're working.
Absolutely.
You're
Yeah, so
doing this
many of the
podcast.
skills, yeah, so many of those skills I'm still, that I built and really honed in on in undergrad, I'm using and have helped me so much in this next chapter. And it's like sometimes I don't even realize it, but it really did set me up for success. And I'm forever thankful, like you were saying. But I did want to ask you for someone out there that may be kind of struggling with this transition, if they maybe aren't quite where we are yet, more settled in, what advice do you have for them? I know it can take some time to get adjusted, and whether they're in the finance world or not, I feel like that period between undergrad and navigating that first full-time job can be a little rough. So what advice do you have for that person out there?
I would say that they're not alone, right? Like
Hmm.
you're not alone. It's going to be okay. Talk to people, be honest with how you're feeling, find something that you like to do. Like for me, one of the things that I just love to do is just listen to music. I'll just, like I know that there's probably things I need to do when I'm driving home, like whether that's, checking on someone but I'll just like listen to music, right? And because that helps me feel better, like get in the moment.
Who's your go-to
It's,
artist?
you know this,
No, I don't remember.
Coldplay.
Oh my gosh.
I
So on the
swear I
drive
was
home, you're turning on Coldplay, and hey, if that's what you need to decompress after a long day, then you do what you got to do.
Fix You Live. You can't beat that. No, but so that's who I listen to. But again, it's just like I said, kind of about the keeping up with the Joneses thing and trying to
Hmm.
impress other people. When you're in your new career or you have a lot going on in life and things aren't working, you feel so alone, right? You
Yeah.
feel so alone. You feel like no one else knows what I'm going through. I have it so bad right now. This sucks. And then you just kind of get in this rut.
Hmm.
And it's okay to feel like that for a couple days, it's all right. But what I would just say is you're not alone. Like people, you never know what people are going through, right? Like
Hmm.
there's people who I talk to every day who it's like, oh my gosh, like you never know what someone's going through. And, people, maybe you don't have it as bad as you think.
Hmm.
So just talk to people, do something that you enjoy that you appreciate. For me, I like to be social. Like I like to talk to people, right? Like I like to go out and talk to people, call a lot of different I have to do it for work, obviously, but
Hmm.
I just like to just call people and see how they're doing, right?
Yeah, check in.
So yeah, just check in. I'm curious about their life and seeing how they're doing, but it's also like a good way for me to get out stuff that's on my mind or in my chest. I was at my church, I'm in a group called That Man Is You. And what it is, it's a lot of Catholic men getting together and talking about their faith, about,
Hmm.
being an adult, about taking care of your family, doing all those things. And I really realized, when I was there this morning that people have a lot going on in their head that they just they just bottle in, right?
Hmm.
Especially a lot of men. But talk to somebody about it, right? Like I talk to about a lot of my problems and things that's going on with Kara, right? Like that's my person to talk to about that. But find someone in your life who you trust, find someone in life who you care about, and call them. That's what I would say for
Yeah.
people that are going through that struggle.
Yeah, because your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And I feel like it can be stigmatized so much that when, it gets to the point where you're holding it all in and holding it all in, it gets to the point where you just can't take it anymore. So I think that's so important to have someone or something as an outlet for you.
Yep, it's mental health, physical health, financial health. They're all
Hmm.
just as important, right?
Yeah.
Mental health might be the most important one, to be honest with you, because if
Yeah.
that's not in a
Especially
good place,
nothing else really is. I mean, especially when you're in your 20s, you're figuring it out. So many things are changing for you. So you want to make sure all of those things are in alignment with your mental health being at the top.
yes, I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like, oh my gosh, time is just going so fast. I mean, just speaking on undergrad again, it feels like yesterday and forever ago at the same time. Life moves so quick. It's hard to keep up with everything and everyone, but it's something I guess you have to be intentional about to just make sure you're enjoying the process, enjoying the moment, enjoying the people in your life because things change in the blink of an eye.
Hmm.
And, that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to start this platform. I really just wanted to give people a space to have open conversations and just, really, I think going back to what you said earlier, to know they're not alone. A lot of the struggles, challenges that they may be facing right now, wherever they're at in their careers and their lives, there's so many people that are sharing those same experiences. But sometimes maybe you do need to hear it from someone else to really let it sink in.
Let's think about what a lot of younger people are going through right now. They're graduating school. Maybe they
Hmm.
didn't go to school and they're graduating high school. They're figuring out what they want to do with their lives. They're figuring out what kind of person they want to be. They're concerned about the cost of living. They're concerned
Hmm.
about a lot of the political things going on in the world, and it's confusing. They are trying to maybe perhaps find a significant other, and there's
Hmm.
challenges with that. It's very stressful and you feel alone, right? Like you feel like you got your whole life in front of you, and that's such an awesome thing. But it's also kind of scary because it's like,
Yeah,
hmm, if I mess up now and if I don't do the right things in the next couple years, it's over. Like I'm going to be down the wrong
exactly.
path. And that's just so far from the truth. I truly feel like, there's a lot of different times where you can find yourself. And like I said, a year ago, I didn't think I'd be working, in this industry. I thought I'd be working in the paint industry. I thought I'd be
Sherwin
working at
Williams.
Sherwin-Williams. Yeah, you're going to have your paths and everything's going to happen for a reason. And I think that's another good thing too. Just really understanding that there's other people in your situation. I would go find other people that are like you. Go network
Hmm.
with people, go talk to people, call people that you went to school with, reach out to some friends, and maybe it's people in your industry too, right? Like there's events that are in your industry.
Yeah.
Because you need that companionship. You need other people to help you feel better sometimes.
Mm, do.
But yeah, no,
I
but
agree.
we're going through a lot of stuff right now. It's definitely a difficult time. And a big thing too is it's hard for a lot of people to find a job right now.
The
I
job
don't know about
market.
you, but TA, there's a lot of people that we graduated with who they're having a tough time finding a job, and they
Hmm.
have all this debt, and maybe their parents paid for it, and their parents are like, I paid all this money for you to go to good school,
Right.
and and it's like it's not my fault. I'm just trying to find a job, and I'm applying to 100 different places, and it's tough.
Mhm.
It's hard. I think like you're a great example because you're very proactive. You're very
Thank you.
proactive, right? You do your homework, you put yourself together, you make sure you put your best foot forward each day. And for your job, you don't know what's going through you, but you right? Like if you're a news anchor,
Mhm.
you have to have a smile. You got to be talking. You have
Yeah.
to deliver enthusiasm. You have to be consistent, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, so it's like I gotta be on all the time. So then it's like when I come home, I need to make sure I'm decompressing. I'm doing the things I need to do when I'm not out in the public eye, things like that. So finding that balance is so important. And honestly, that's important in any career that you're in, finding that balance of work and life. I think that really what it comes down to because at the end of the day, you still got to live and you still have to be happy with your life, but we still have to work to pay the bills and support
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, they have to maybe have two different streams of income or another side hustle.
Yeah, depending on all, what all it is that they need to finance.
That's correct. What do you do? Like you have a crazy schedule and you got a lot going on, and especially being in Buffalo, like pretty soon, I
Yeah.
hate to break it to you, but pretty soon it's gonna be hard to get around with all the snow there.
Yeah, thanks. What do
But
I do?
what
Go
do you
ahead.
do to check in on yourself? Like when you're having a long week, or there's
Mhm.
this crazy story, and these people aren't responding, and you got a lot going
Mhm.
on, you're busy. What kind of helps you kind of get grounded and feel better when you're having a rough
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, Mick, that's a good question. I think one of the biggest things for me, especially with what I do for my line of work, is knowing when it's time to disconnect. So that means I'm out talking with people every single day, interviewing people, I'm on camera, and that's great and it's so fun and I love what I do, but it also can be draining at times. So knowing when I come home, I don't need to be on social media, I don't need to be on my phone, I don't need to be checking my work phone because I have a personal phone and work phone. So I don't need to be checking my phone. I can just come home, disconnect. And if that means, even if it means just having time to myself, if it means going to work out, if it means calling my family or friends, still socializing, but that sometimes is an outlet for me that kind of keeps me grounded and to just know that, yes, I'm in a new place and I'm navigating a new space, but I still have people there. I still have my community. I still have my community out there. So I think really just knowing that I do care about having a work-life balance, and although sometimes those lines get blurred in finding the balance, but I try to really prioritize my mental health, my physical health. My gosh, speaking of working out, I mean, you know how hard that can be in terms of fitting that in your schedule. I mean, that's a priority for me too, and especially being a college athlete, you go from working out every day and being in the best shape of your life to working. Working out can sometimes get put on the back burner. So I just like to find things that I enjoy doing. Like I said, I like working out. I like talking to my family and friends on the phone. I like reading. I like watching shows. I've been making new friends here in Buffalo, finding and building my community here. But on the contrary, also knowing when to disconnect from it all.
Yeah, that's a great skill to have. It's it's tough because there's that balance of, all right, well, I'm just getting started in my career, so I got to prove myself. So I got to work all this hours and all this time. And there is that, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't just, you haven't, I wouldn't want to say you haven't made it yet, but you know what I mean? Like you got a lot of work to do. Like you're getting started. You're
Exactly.
trying to make a name for yourself, and that's great. But you're also a human being.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't take care of your mental health, and if you don't take care of those things in your life and your social life, there might not be a social life to go home to.
Yeah.
That's something that I realized quick in my job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm working 70, 80 hours. It doesn't stop, right? Like I go home and I'm doing stuff. And then I sat and I realized I was like, all right, yes, I need to work hard and do all these things. But what's the point of me doing this? What's the purpose of me doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just trying to make my family be in a better spot than I was growing up, right? Or I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that they have things better and I'm able to provide as much as I can. And it's but you got to be present, and you have to give the time
Yeah.
and energy to the people that you really do care about, because that time and energy is just as important as any wealth you can give them.
Absolutely. I get that completely. I mean, yes, you want to worry about and focus on your financial success and building generational wealth for you and your family, but also at the end of the day, you gotta check in and make sure you're okay as well.
Hmm. For me, I was in high school and I joined an organization called Advice Beyond the Classroom.
Mhm.
And the person that started that was an alumni from our school. His name is Nick Lamaglio. He's an awesome guy, and he's a financial advisor in Chicago. And he really made me realize that life is more than just like a sport, or life is, and your career is just more than just, being so focused on one thing. Like you have to be holistic,
Mhm.
like you have to have that balance in your life, and you have to focus on developing yourself and your skills. And that's another reason that kind of inspired me to be as busy as I was in college so I could put
Mhm.
myself in a good position to have more opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good thing to look at, especially for people when athletics is their whole life. I mean, you got to think about your life, what your life will be or will look like once the sport is gone. Because at the end of the day, you're more than an athlete, you're a person, and there's more to life than just that. So that's really good advice. I'm happy that's something that you heard so early on.
For sure.
Well, Mick, that brings me to the golden question of this podcast. Where you at? In this new season of your career, post athlete identity, postgraduate years, stepping into this engagement and preparing for marriage, where are you at in terms of who you're becoming?
Wow. That's a great question. I want to become a man who my family and my friends and my acquaintances and coworkers and clients
Hmm.
can look at and say, he's a good guy. He's someone who cares. He's someone that does the right thing. He's someone who's smart. He's someone who goes above and beyond. And that answer, what does that tell you? One of the things that inspires me and motivates me is how other people perceive me. And that's something that I'm working through, right? So But ultimately, what's going to make me feel good and what's going to be best for my situation is working hard. So then this way, I don't have to be in a position one day where I don't have options, right? So
Yeah.
who am I becoming? I'm becoming somebody who goes above and beyond, becoming somebody who does the right thing, who's smart, who does their homework, who has all the resources and information in front of them. And luckily for me, I'm at a firm that has that as well,
Mhm.
right? Like a lot of people, they start, they open up their own firm, and that's really cool. I admire that, but they don't have the resources.
Mhm.
But definitely someone who's just pushing towards their goals and their future. Right? But it's also like, managing like, all right, well, what am I right now? Because I'm never going to be 25 again. I'm never
Right.
going to be in this engagement stage again.
Mhm.
So what's important for me? It's my family. It's Kara. It's just it's doing the right thing for the people I care about, our clients. And then when I go home at night after a long day, I sleep a little bit better knowing that, hey, you know what? I spent a lot of time with Kara today. I was able
Mhm.
to get some stuff done through work. I was able to work out and feel a little bit better. I wish I could tell you like one word. Yeah, I wish there was like
No, that's
one word I could
okay. There
say,
isn't
but
a one-word answer to where you're at and what you're navigating because it's so many different things, right?
it's the next level, I would say. It's getting to that
Mhm.
next level, not just, from a wealth perspective or from a time perspective of having more
Mhm.
time to be able to spend, but just as a person, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things too is I have really awesome, great, loving parents who care about me, and they raised me to have, great values and beliefs, but they also raised me never to just settle, never just be okay with the minimum, right? Keep
Mhm.
working hard, right? If you fail or if you get rejected or if something happens, get up, dust yourself off, and get up, right? And that's something too, right? I think, especially when you're younger in career, and you can attest to this, there's a lot of no's. There's a lot of
Yep.
times where you fail. Maybe you don't get accepted into that school you thought. Maybe you don't have the best track race that you wanted to. Maybe you
Mhm.
don't get that client that you wanted to that had all that money. But if you keep working hard, if you put yourself out there, and if you have that belief in yourself, everything will work out. I'm a
It
firm
will.
believer in that. So that's kind of where I'm headed right now. And I want to keep riding
Mhm.
momentum for the rest of this year and then start off 2026 strong. I don't know if you're a New Year's resolution person, but I really want to make 2026 a year that's just very holistic for me and my family.
Yeah, that's a great perspective to have, Mick. And if you need to hear it from an old friend that you are great and you are doing everything, I mean, that you've been working towards, it seems like you've achieved already great things. So, I'm so proud of you and all your success. I think back to, our days on the track and just, laughing and having fun. And it's like, oh, that's funny. They say, oh, we will look back and say those were the good old days. But to know you then and to see you now, it's great to see your growth. So I'm so happy for you. And I'm really wishing you all the best and not only your professional success, but also your personal life and your personal endeavors and goals and things that you want to achieve on that front as well.
Yeah, likewise, TA. And I will say this about our track experience. I swear, my favorite memories and experiences from track and John Carroll track was the connections, the relationships, the
Mhm.
laughs, the bus rides, the hotels, hanging out,
All of those.
right?
Yeah.
Those are the best times. Like, yes, we had success. Yes, we won.
Mhm.
Yes, we lost. Yes, we got hurt.
Mhm.
We had ups and downs. That's life.
Mhm.
That's going to happen.
Yeah,
But
the
the people
people,
and
the team, the
yep, you said it.
atmosphere, that made it all
Yes.
worth it, and I wouldn't regret a thing.
No, for sure. And I think, it's important for us to keep that in mind because,
Mhm.
as future leaders in our industries and building teams and being trailblazers, really like with you in this podcast, having that in the back of your mind is important because what kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of example do you want to
Mhm.
set? Like, for example, when Tutsi came in and was a coach,
Mhm.
it was that example of care about each other. We're a team. We're bigger than one.
Mhm.
You're the best person on the team. I don't care. Be
Exactly.
a good teammate. Like show up. And that's something that inspires me as well today with work and stuff and showing up early and making sure that my coworkers are good and seeing ways that we can
Yeah.
help each other. And I definitely think that's important as well.
Absolutely, Mick. Absolutely. And before we go, I do just want to ask, now that you're in Columbus, are you a Buckeyes fan, Ohio State fan? I just need to make sure of one thing now that you're living there.
Go Irish, baby.
Gosh.
I'm a Notre
I
Dame
mean, I can't
fan.
even, yeah,
Born and raised.
I can't hate on Notre Dame, but, I'm Ohio State through and through.
Yeah, I could tell by the red.
Yes. The
Is that
red
red or
is,
is it?
oh no,
Yeah.
this is pink. This is pink, but close
Oh
enough.
my God.
My nails are red. My nails are red.
There you go. My name is Mick
Gosh.
Doyle. It's as Irish you can get. So go Notre
Mick,
Dame.
go Irish. Okay, okay.
But so
I can't even be too mad about that.
Kara's a huge Ohio State fan. So after the national championship game, we didn't talk for a couple days. So, I was a little salty and it was tough. With that said, Ohio State's a phenomenal team. They are, like I said, the 33rd NFL team if I had to pick one. How was the game last week? It is an awesome experience. So I really respect Ohio State, what Ryan Day is doing there and the players that they have and the coaches. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope they do well. I'm rooting for
Who do
them.
you have in the college football championship this year?
Ooh.
That's a hard one. Well,
You know what I think
not
it comes
too hard,
down
but
to? I think it comes down to who's has the most depth. So Ohio State, I think, is going to make it because they're the best team. Like they're the best team. So Ohio State will be in. And then the second best team last year is Notre Dame. This year I could see it being a team like Georgia.
yeah,
Right?
you think so?
Georgia. I like to say Notre Dame, but they got a younger quarterback, so we'll see what happens with that. I respect them. Ideally, it's Notre Dame, but if I had to put money on it, I would probably put it on Georgia. And then who'd win? Probably Ohio State.
Okay,
right?
okay. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I have no doubts on Ohio State. So,
And then
good
John
prediction,
Carroll's
though.
in the
Good
D3
prediction.
playoffs. John
I
Carroll
know. I
plays.
did see that. And now they're not in the OAC. It's the NCAC.
NCAC, yep.
Yeah, their new conference. So it's been fun to kind of see how our athletics are navigating the new conference and excelling there as well.
Yeah, for sure. I know football won, women's soccer won as well. It's really cool what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like I said before, I'm so thankful for John Carroll. It brought me so many great things and great people and just the network. And I know my teammates, my friends, my roommates, it's lifelong people that will forever be near and dear to my heart. So thank you, Mick, for coming on, old teammate, old friend, and happy holidays to you and your family. And you just gave great financial advice, financial perspective for people, and also just on a personal level. Just sharing, your personal struggles and talking on a human level, because at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all people and we're just trying to make it. So thank you, Mick.
For sure. Thank you very much for having me and happy Thanksgiving.
That's all for today's episode of Where You At. I hope Mick's honesty gave you something real to walk away with, especially when it comes to your relationship with money, success, and the pressure to keep up online. But remember this, financial wellness isn't about looking successful. It's about building stability, clarity, and habits that support your future self. And growth doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it's budgeting. Sometimes it's saying no. And sometimes it's taking the slower but steadier path that aligns with your real goals. So thanks for listening. I hope you took a lot away from this episode, and I'll catch you next time.